If anybody's read the book Snow Crash, they know there's this really interesting idea where the characters ask this thing, Snow Crash, is it a virus? Is it a drug? Is it a religion? They say, what's the difference? When we think about AI, is it going to do drugs? Is it going to have religion? Is it going to get the cold? Life is changing really fast on this planet. And it seems like the things that humans have done for millennia, it's not quite that they're going extinct, but they're probably going to change fast. The technological progress that we're going to see in the next 5 years is probably going to outpace maybe what we saw in the last 15, maybe even the last 50. The Nobel Prize just went out to the founder of DeepMind for a new way to understand folding proteins. And for people in computer science, this is a classic problem. And for a lot of us in AI, it's no surprise that we have a breakthrough throwing these neural network technologies at the problem. But this just happened. What is this going to look like for drug discovery, for cancer research, genomics, anti-aging? We haven't even gotten started on these frontiers. How are humans going to change if they can suddenly live to 150? If they can live to 200, 2,000? There's nothing in physics that says it's impossible. Elon Musk says to look at first principles. Find out, is there any barrier in the physical world? Otherwise, attack the problem right there. What about religious robots? Ray Kurzweil spoke of this age of spiritual machines. They already have a sense of morality. Those that have seen Battlestar, they know that was about religious machines. And how is it going to affect human religion? We now have a new species on this planet, or one that's emerging. How are humans going to respond to that? I think there's a lot of thoughts, and we need a community. We need to use the swarm to figure these things out. No one individual, no one mind, I think, can solve these things. We need to look at the entire species. We need to be prepared for radical changes. We need to be prepared to think about the machines as no longer being machines. Maybe we need new language. Maybe we need a new understanding. Are they going to enjoy sugar? What is caffeine to something that exists as an API call? What does it do to us? Are we just software? I've said before, I think software is tiny physics. Is there a fundamental distinction? We get this idea of universality, of downloadability, perfect copies of digital beings. But where does the digital and the physical world, where does the rubber hit the road? Well, this is the age-old problem of how do spirit and matter interact. Maybe spirit is software. Maybe this thing we've been trying to pin down for 10,000 years or more is something analogous to what we've just recreated in the last 100 years in terms of software. Is the soul software? Is the mind software? Is consciousness software? Can you download it? Turns out this is not a new idea. Might be one of the oldest ideas. Pythagoras looked at it. This idea of transmigration of souls. metempsychosis. That your personality, your sense of self even, might be more ephemeral than we imagine. Maybe it's downloadable. Maybe it's not. Geoffrey Hinton, who also just won the Nobel Prize, has some recent work on mortal computation. The idea that we're going to see AI that is stuck in one chip. You can't transfer it. And it gets a trade-off in efficiency for doing that. Is that what biology does? Is that what DNA does? When we think of AI, we tend to think of things like job loss, or maybe job creation, new technologies, new gadgets. But I think the biggest changes are going to be in our mind. Like in Snow Crash, this signal could be noxious, could be enlightening. But there's no doubt it's going to fundamentally change who we are and how we think about ourselves, both as individuals and as a species. I hope for the better. But like a hurricane, if you prepare for it, you'll do much better. You'll fare much better. And with a hurricane, you get good surf. And when a tidal wave comes, you grab a surfboard. Take advantage of it. Look into the corners of your mind that you haven't explored before. Try to use AI tools to go and explore ancient texts. Translate them. Have it synthesize all the sci-fi books you don't have time to read. Have it synthesize all of the historical documents that no human mind has the time to look at. Certainly not all the different languages. I think that's going to be the most exciting part of AI. We've only just seen the beginning. This idea of things like ChatGPT, it hasn't even hit scholarship yet. Academia is still thinking about it in terms of, plagiarism and students' essays not being authentic. But what if we really let it loose on Sanskrit, on ancient Mayan, on ancient Greek, whatever it might be? Ask it to rebuild the Library of Alexandria. Ask it to decode the Voynich manuscript. What are we going to get out of those things? Scholarship traditionally has been very expensive. Now, the cost of generating new knowledge is going to fall to pennies, micro pennies. We're going to see Indiana Jones type drones going out there exploring the Amazon, for example. They're already doing that with LiDAR, find new civilizations. They're going to be able to do archaeological surveys at a scale we've never seen before. I would encourage, young listeners that this is going to be a really fruitful field. E.O. Wilson, the biologist who studied ants, he says march away from the cannons. That whenever there's a big commotion in the scientific world, that young scientists should go in the other direction. And so while everybody is going and thinking about the next API call and the next killer app for iPhone 27, whatever it might be, go in the other direction. Look at linguistics. Look at paleontology. Look at archaeology. We need a new timeline. History hasn't revised itself the way physics has. And I think history is ripe for a revolution. And it's going to feel like a virus. It's going to feel like a drug. And it might seem like a new religion. But this AI is here to stay, and it's going to change the world. Get involved.